Welcome to Pythia Express, a simple yet powerful tool that analyzes your data using statistical techniques, machine learning algorithms, and natural language processing, helping you understand the vital information hidden in your data. Either you are a student, a researcher, or a business analyst, Pythia Express is a necessary addition to your toolset. Subscribe now and activate one of our early access plans. Note that you can benefit even more by subscribing to one of our annual plans. Let's get started by checking the free version. Try it now, no registration required. Starting with the analytics, we first upload our data and check the preview. Note that there are some restrictions regarding the file content. The supported files are CSV and Excel sheets. Use our templates and adjust them accordingly. Data distribution gives us frequency plots that explain how are distributed the values of each of our numeric columns. The correlation analysis provides us a heat map with the correlation coefficients between our numerical variables. This helps us identify relationships between the features. In our example file, we have a data set with our resellers' information. The data includes reseller, the number of items sold, the minimum, maximum and average item price. The group analysis gets the first categorical and the first numerical column of our file, and provides us with statistics of the numerical column for each unique value of the categorical column. For example, we can have price statistics for each product category. From the distribution analysis, we immediately see that most of our resellers have sold less than 252 items. The minimum price of the items is between $32 and $200, while a few resellers manage to keep the prices above $350. The overall average prices vary significantly among resellers. Regarding the correlation analysis, we can see a strong correlation between the minimum and the average price, while the maximum price seems to have less influence on the average price. Finally, from the group analysis we can see some general statistics for the items sold per reseller. For the natural language processing, we use a small sample of reviews regarding Amazon services. Note that this data set contains only 6 reviews and is not representative to drive any conclusion for the mentioned services. The sentiment analysis option provides us a generic overview of the total sentiment in our data. The targeted sentiment, on the other hand, make a detailed analysis and identifies entities in the sentences as well as the sentiment referring to those entities. Note that the results may include too much information and a post-processing step is required. Now, let's see the additional features available for the subscribed users. Feel free to sign up for a new account if you have not already. It is free and provides some additional functionalities for free, like storing your data and results under your account. After signing up, you can log in and start using Pythia Express. You can change your account information, change your password, and modify your subscription plan. You can also delete your account anytime. It is important to note that this will delete all your information, including your data, and this information cannot be recovered. Starting with the analytics section, we first read and accept the privacy policy. Based on our plan, we can see our data limitations in the data step. Here we can upload and manage our data sets. Note that while for the non-logged-in users the data will be automatically deleted within 30 days, for the subscribed users they have the full control of the data. Here we can activate the data source of interest, or delete it when we are done with the analysis. We do not keep any copy of your data, so we cannot restore a deleted dataset. Now that we have activated the dataset of interest, we can proceed with the analysis setup. Here, we enable what kind of analysis we need to be conducted, and set up the respective configurations. In the Statistical Measures section, we can enable what kind of statistics we want to be computed and for which columns. The Data Exploration section allows us to check the distribution of the columns of interest. Check for missing values. Group data per unique values of a column and see the corresponding statistics of another value, or check the correlation between specific features. In the results page, we have a text that explains the meaning of each section. This text is editable and can be adjusted before printing the results as a report. Each table of the results page can be copied and used in external reports or Excel sheets. To do that, use the copy button at the top right corner of the tables. Similarly, the charts can be downloaded to be used in external reports. Now that we have the results, we can see the correlation between the variables, noting that number of beds and number of baths are highly correlated. We can also see the price statistics for each city. For example, the average price for Sacramento is about $100,000. Next, we can see a general summary of our data, following by some distribution metrics that help us understand briefly the structure. As we can see, the average price of our properties is about $230,000. But this is only for our sample data set. Is it safe to claim that the average price of the houses in the United States is $230,000? To check that, we can apply hypothesis tests. Let's assume for a moment that the prices follow a normal distribution. Then we can conduct a one-sample t-test for the price column and set our hypothesis about the column. We can also check the normality assumption by conducting a normality test, let's say for the number of beds and baths this time. In the results, we can see some tables and graphs providing useful information about the variables and the normality assumption. But, unless the user has statistical background, this information might be overwhelming. That's why, the user can ask our artificial intelligence to explain the result in a simple, yet complete paragraph. The results suggest that the data for both variables deviate significantly from a normal distribution. Similarly, we can ask for explanation of the hypothesis testing results. As we can see, our assumption is valid. The p-value being greater than 0.05 means that there is not enough evidence to reject our hypothesis, within a confidence level of 95%. Next, we can proceed with a regression analysis. Here, we assume that there is a linear equation that relates the number of bedrooms, the area of the property, and the number of available bathrooms to the price of the property. The question is, what is the form of this equation? So we try to identify those coefficients of the formula. In the results, we get the coefficients in question and a metric about how well this model represents our data. Yet, if the results are not clear to us, we can still ask AI for an explanation. For the dimensionality reduction and classification problems, we use another dataset that contains some characteristics of plants and the species the plant belongs to. The question is if there is a new feature that could represent the three plant characteristics in a good enough way so that we use only one variable instead of three for our future analyses. For this purpose, we use principal component analysis. The classification question is if we can get an accurate way to identify the species, knowing the plant characteristics. Here, we use logistic regression model as our classifier. From the results, we can see that we can use only the first principal component as a new feature that represents more than 90% of the variability in our data. We can ask AI for a clean explanation of the results. Our classification model seems to perform very well, since only 4 out of 150 plats have been misclassified. Again, AI can provide us a deeper explanation. For the natural language processing analysis, we activate the respective dataset and select if we want total sentiment analysis or target sentiment, which identifies key terms and the sentiment corresponding to those terms. For each analysis, we choose which column in our dataset contains the text we want to analyze. This was an overview of Pythia Express Beta 4. Many new features are on the way, including forecasting engine. Thanks for watching.